Hello, everyone. My name is Eric Keefe, editor-in-chief of The Quintessential Gentleman, and today we are talking to Mr. Matthew Claybrooks, who is the showrunner for BET Plus's Little Kev. What's going on? How are you?
Good, good. Thank you for having me.
Of course, of course. Little Kev, man, Little Kev. I watched a few episodes, and
Oh, good, good.
it's a lot going on there, but I like
Yeah.
it. I want to know, I've been, kind of reading, doing some research, knowing that this was started back in 2016. Can you just give us a little information about like how this all started?
Yeah, this has been a long process. Michael and I hooked up. We sold this thing long time ago. We thought it was a slam dunk, amazing cast. At that point, it was more of a network show. So it was still edgy, but no profanity and stuff like that. Um, you know, no reason was given, but it eventually didn't go there. And I never gave up on it though. It just we took a while to get the rights back, and then we took it out again. We sold it multiple times, but didn't find the right home. And I remember being on the road because I work with Chris Rock a lot. I was with him, and I remember doing a Zoom with BET and pitching the show to them, thinking, BT is not in the animation game. What's the odds? And they liked it.
Wow.
And it ended up being the perfect home for us. They wanted us to be edgier and really go there and really show the real. And we were like, that's how we wanted to do in the first place. So it was like a long labor of love, never giving up, me calling Heartbeat once a month for a long time.
Yep, yep.
And it's just so, in my opinion, I love the show so much that I've pitched a lot of stuff, sold stuff, didn't sell stuff, but this one was like, this has to be made. I don't care, to my dying day, I'm gonna try to get this made. And so we finally got it done. And it feels surreal because it's been so long. And when I'm driving down the street, sometimes I'll see a billboard and I'm like, I can't even believe it.
So, your story is very reminiscent of a lot of creators who it just takes time. I don't think our audience or the general public and people not in the industry understand how long it really takes to get these projects off the ground. Is it just like what is the reason? Don't have to be specifics, but just like kind of what are some of the things that always cause the friction for it not to be able for us to be able to view?
Right. A lot of times it's just the needs of the network, like they change sometimes. There's new regimes that come in. There's a lot of mergers. So that's what happened to us. It was a big merger and that different people were in charge. And so, a lot of new people when they come in, they don't want the old projects that were there before because if they do well, they don't get any credit. If they don't, they take the blame. So that's one of the reasons. So it's so many reasons. I'm shocked when anything gets made. I'm like, how do we make anything with this process? Like, so having a big star like Kevin helps because he has the big lawyers and he has the whole machine behind him, and he's such a positive like force. So that, but it's just so many things that get in the way, and I attribute growing up in church because Pentecostal kid, PK, and the faith. I'm not religious really now, but the faith from that I learned is like you just have to be unshakable, man. If you're not, I don't care how talented you are, if you don't have perseverance, it's not for you.
Yeah.
It's not for you. It's not for the meek. You got to get in there and tussle and never give up. And it's hard to have a plan B when you're fighting that hard. you know?
It's interesting because you say, funny how anything gets made. We see a lot of things get made. It only shows like, okay, all these, let's say 1,000 things. That means there's 5,000 things that were out there that got
Yeah.
turned down, or so definitely understand that. And then you also said earlier that you brought this to the network. You brought this again. So Kevin originally wasn't a part of it. Like
Oh,
you,
Kevin's always been a part of it. I
okay,
remember pitching to Kevin. He was looking, he wanted to do an animated show. He was
Okay.
meeting with a bunch of writers.
Okay.
And so I knew, being someone that didn't have a big name in this business, I needed to come harder core, than everybody else. So I did my research. I worked day and night. I hired an artist to do designs. Like I went in all guns blazing, and me and Michael, we built a show that Kevin loved. And so he never shook on him loving the show, but he's always been he's the one that's like, I want to do an animated show. And
Okay.
and so he picked us to be the people, the standard bearers to make it happen.
Awesome. So, I wouldn't consider this a show for children.
No, 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 we
Uh,
we have the big parental discretion
okay.
advised sign, and I was adamant, like I need that imprinted on people's brains that if they allow their kids to watch it, it is not our fault. You know
Yes.
what I mean? If you have a skull and crossbones on a bottle and it's locked in a case, what can we do? Like,
Right.
so we don't want kids to watch it of a certain age. We feel like if you're an older teenager, you'll get it. You're listening to music and everything. But we don't think young kid, like I have a daughter, she's 6, and you know, I can't let her watch it. I won't let her watch it. I'll let her see images and she'll be like, "Why is that guy mad? Why is this person doing this or that?" And she sat on my lap when we were working on animatics for the show because it's kind of like moving storyboards. And because I know the show so well, I could always, you know, cut the sound on the
No
computer when
things
it
about
comes
that.
up.
Right.
And she loved doing that, and she would give her notes. She would give me notes.
Right.
Um, but yeah, so it's not for kids. It's not for kids. It's raw. It's how Kevin grew up in North
Okay.
Philly. I'm from Compton, and I
Okay.
grew up similarly. And even though we were children, life, they didn't treat us like we were children. You would get if you get in an argument or something with a grown man, you got beat up like a grown man. That's how we grew up. So we wanted to show the real. BET wanted us to show the real, and be authentic about Kevin's life, and we were on board for it.
How far were there? Did you have an idea of how far you wanted to take it with the adult content, language, the R-rated element?
Hmm. Hmm.
Kind of what was that like? It's like, all right, I want to go this far, but not,
We wanted to be edgy, and we turned in the script to BET. They didn't think it was edgy enough. So
okay.
we said, "Oh, that's what you want? You will never have this note for us again." Because we're gonna come with it, and we came with it, and they were like, "Okay, that's the right amount of edgy. Don't go past that." But we didn't sit around and go, "How many F words are in it?" or whatever. We just let the characters in the situation dictate what happened. Like in this situation, if you were talking to this guy on the street, what would he say? Kind of thing. The scenario, we tried to get out of the way of the characters and let the characters not do what we would do, but do what they would do and what they did in the 90s. Because it was the 90s, it was a whole different time. It's a period piece. And I'm
And
sorry,
it's
but
North Philly. I want to know,
yeah,
like, how do you even stay? Because also born in Philly, born in Northeast Philly,
nice.
Roosevelt Boulevard. So definitely understanding some of that, the language and how it
Hmm.
was in that time. I'm a little younger than Kevin,
Yeah,
but so maybe less F bombs, but
yeah.
still is there. I wanted to know how were you able to be so authentic to that particular geographic area as well as the time.
Right. Talking to Kevin for one, and how he wanted to portray Philadelphia. He wanted it to be raw, but to also show the love and the support of the community. Because he was like, I loved growing up there. He's not one of these guys that like, I couldn't wait to get out of there. He was like, I enjoyed it, because he always kind of looks at the positive side of things. But again, it was the 90s, and we wanted to really show what that time was. And unfortunately, I mean, I went to Philly because I was like, when I get involved with a project, I try to research it. I flew to Philly. Had a driver, and he took me around. I was like, take me to Kevin's elementary school. I went to like the whole neighborhood where he grew up, and I had all intentions of just walking around and talking to people. And we went down one street. It's like a train above ground, like and I literally saw three drug deals go down in daytime, like broad daylight. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And then we get to Kevin's where he lived. I mean, I just saw so much despair and a couple of people that kind of looked suspicious. And being from Compton, I kind of know
Yeah.
when it's like it's not cool to be around here right now. So people were looking in the car and like, who are these people? And I was like, I don't feel safe to get out.
Right.
So that was an informing thing. It was like, hey, this is the real deal.
Yeah.
We can sanitize this a little, but if we're going to show North Philly and what Kevin went through,
Yeah.
and it also made me understand how his dad was hooked on drugs. I
Mm,
saw so many people hooked on drugs,
yeah.
and I was like, he wasn't an anomaly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it was like it's despair, like paint coming on. I mean, and it's not all of North Philly or Philly at all. I love Philly. Every time I go, I have a great time. So it's not that we're not trying to put it down at all. We just wanted to show how some people have a rough time coming up, and that can be North Philly, Compton, parts of New York. I mean, that's we have places all over America where you wouldn't get out your car
Yeah.
at certain times. So, we wanted to stay true to that.
Yeah. And I definitely think you accomplished that. Um, Wanda Sykes is to me top five comedic,
Absolutely.
not women comedics, not
Nope.
comedics. I love.
Absolutely.
And now after watching this, I'm like, I kind of need a movie with with Kevin and Wanda because
Yeah.
it was great. And I want to know, just going into the casting, what was that like? Was it, did you, Kevin, like, oh, I gotta have Wanda and all the other key players?
We always wanted Wanda. Always wanted Dion, and we always wanted Slink.
Mm,
Day one,
yeah,
2016, we wanted them. I'm with you. Wanda's my top five comedians of all time, which includes Dave Chappelle, Chris Rock, Richard Pryor, and Carlin. Like literally, I'm not even putting them in order. Wanda's that good.
yeah.
She's that good. She's so smart. Her voice is so distinctive, and it's so like you can hear her voice anywhere, know it's her.
And it was
She
her.
she has one of those voices, and we wanted that voice, and we wanted to be a strong woman's voice because we had a problem with casting at one point. They wanted a person with a softer voice,
Mm,
and not with BET. They got it. And that's why this is the perfect home. They understand our community. But some places they thought her voice was too strong. She was too abrasive. And we were
mm,
like, when you're a single mother in this environment, that's not abrasiveness. That's called love. And so we fought for her. I remember at some point they were like, they gave us a list of other names, and Kevin stuck to his guns. He was like, "We're not doing it without Wanda." And so Wanda's been fantastic. And so we had her, and we're like, okay, Kevin and Wanda, that's the starting point. So it can only get better. And then we got Dion, who just embodies Uncle Richie Jr. He
mm,
comes in the booth, and he come. I mean, all of them. First off, Wanda, every episode, she gives us 5 to 10 jokes. It's like
mm,
having another writer, probably
yeah,
your best writer
yeah,
in the
yeah,
booth. So Dion comes with jokes. He
yeah.
was like, instead of colder than or thicker than something, he said thicker than cold peanut butter. And I was like, what's better? What's a better image than that? So he was fantastic. Slink, amazing voice. He's been on a ton of stuff. He was Black Jesus on that show on Comedy Central. And then we rounded out with we have so many stand-up comedians on our show. I'll I think you can make a challenge. Like, I think we have more stand-up comedians on our show than any show on television.
Mm,
Almost everybody in our cast is a stand-up comedian. We have four of our writers are stand-up comedians. So we value funny and people bringing funny to the table, be it words, looks, whatever it is. We want the funny and we value that. So we look at our cast as our partners. We don't look for them to come in the booth and we just dictate everything they do. We have good, well-written lines and funny jokes, but we always say, play around with it. If you have something better, and I do a lot of the directing of the actors, so we read the lines together and play the parts together, and I give them all of it. You know what I mean? And by the end of each record session, I'm hoarse because I'm like yelling and acting it out with them and everything, and getting them there. And they're fantastic. I think if there was some way to challenge another show at who's the funniest people on it, we'll win hands down. Hands down. I
I
challenge anyone that think their cast is funnier than our cast. We can go to a comedy club near you, and
All right,
we're gonna
listen, you
whoop
pay
that
attention
ass.
too much to Kevin Hart. You know he down. All right, let's figure it out now.
Oh
We got
yeah, anybody let challenge. Please take us. And I love other funny shows. Ted Lasso, Abbott Elementary, hilarious shows. Please, we
and it's funny, but then what I also love about the series is that there's always some type of meaning and message and lesson from it. And to me, that's valuable. One, two, it's important, right? It's like you're watching something, you're also getting something out of it. I love when I can entertain you, but I'm also educate you, right? And my favorite, oh, I know you, I'll let you talk to it. I
no
was
no
gonna
no no. I'm just listening. Go ahead.
yeah, my favorite, from what I've seen, the favorite episode that I like is a politician one when he comes into, and now I'm a political buff, especially in what we doing right, what's going on around us right now. I was like, oh, this is it. The dad, he's like, he the better one. It was so good. But there was also lessons like, yo, they just come into these cities, they just want your vote. You know what I mean? So I wanted to know why was that so important for you all to make sure that there are lessons? Because there are a lot of, to your point, a lot of funny things, but do you get lessons out of them? Are there things that you take away from and you get that with Little Kev?
Yeah, we we never want to do a very special episode where it's all about heart. But we feel like in life there's moments in every Pixar movie. There's a moment where you cry or want to cry. I've cried on a Toy Story 4.
Mm,
Coco, I've cried more on Coco than when my dad died.
wow.
Like literally. So, and I love Pixar. So we wanted to do a show where it's like, yeah, it's funny, 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 but there's moments where it's like we always want to ground it. Like if you take the funny away, the story still plays. It's about a kid growing up in this neighborhood, wants to be free. His mom wants to keep him safe. She's overprotective. That works in a drama.
Yeah.
So we always want to start with that. And we never did anything for shock value. It may be some stuff in there shocking, but not to me, but we never did it for shock value. We're gonna get a rise out of people. No, it was like this is what this person would do in this situation. And so yeah, so that's kind of how we played it. But that campaign episode, we love that as well. And Coleman Bridges, we got that name off of like Gary Coleman and Todd Bridges. We kind of put those two names together, and we it was kind of like a evil Obama-esque type person. You know what I mean? Young guy, he comes in, he's just a climber. He's worrying about what he's going to do next, not what he's going to do for anyone. We'll see if we get a season 2 or beyond or whatever, where we go with that character because we could see him maybe hooking up with somebody else or doing something because he's not married. But yeah, so we love that character. I'm a political buff as well. I used to have MSNBC like around the clock in my house. But yeah, so just always into what's going on, how things work. And we wanted to show with little Kev all the different institutions in their community. That's why we made because Nancy, Kevin's mom, wasn't a nurse in real life, but we wanted to make her a nurse to really shine a light on the healthcare system and how imbalanced it is in our community. And then we have the school system, obviously, with Kevin and his brother. And then we have the jail system with his uncle and his friends. So we just wanted to show all these institutions and how they play a part in our community and the people in our community.
Yeah. No, and that was great. Definitely well received. And my last question for you is just can you talk a little bit more about Black animation?
Mhm.
Because not we don't have enough of it. We don't have a lot of it. We don't even, I think the interest is there. Just the animators don't have there or are not given the opportunity to do that. And I would love for you to just talk a little bit about
Right. Right. I totally agree that it's not enough. The ones that are out there, I love. I worked on Everybody Still Hates Chris.
it.
I really enjoyed working on that. The Boondocks is one of my favorite shows. I loved Proud Family. I mean, if you just go back to Fat Albert and the Cosby Kids, which also took place in North Philly, it's crazy how that like Cosby is from Philly, Kevin's
Mhm.
from Philly, like how that thing is,
I'm
and
from
how
Philly.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And you're from Philly and you can be in the cast as well. Just that how Philly is so rich and just produces so many talented, funny people, and it's because it's hard, it's hardcore, it's real, I love New York, but Philly is its own thing. It's not the what I mean? So yeah, yeah, that's definitely it.
Good, good, awesome. Well, thank you so much. This was amazing. I'm hoping for a renewal season two. Definitely going to tap in. I'm going to finish the rest of these episodes.
Please,
I
please.
think
Episode 6, please get to that one. That's my favorite
episode
one.
six. All right, I'm gonna make sure I check out episode six. Is currently on BT Plus. This is the first animation that BT Plus has. BT, like you said before, BT never did any of they never had any animation or anything like that. So this is the first. Definitely got to continue to support and did an amazing job. Thank you.
Yeah, I hope that from this and other things, other shows that we get more animated series. You're right, we need more black and brown animated series. I try to watch all of them and they're great. It's just stars have to get on board. It's harder to get things made. So when you get a star like a Kevin Hart, you can get it done. It's harder to get stuff made, even good stuff, without a driving force like a Kevin Hart. So if you're a huge star, I mean, Bill Burr got he got that animated thing made. I forget, and Michael, my partner, created it. I'm just losing it. Not enough sleep. But that's an amazing animated show. So it's just, you know, when you interview stars, tell
Let them know.
Michael B. Jordan, hey man, be in an animated show.
Be an
That's
animated
how
show.
they get made is you need driving forces behind them. And luckily Kevin saw the value in this and I think he's happy with it. At least that's what he told me and he's pretty honest guy. So I hope he continues to be happy with it. And I hope you like the show as well as you keep going through them.
Amazing. Thank you so much. It was great.
Awesome.